This 17 News at Noon podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Noon podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Alex Fisher. Former President Donald Trump is headed to New York, where he is expected to be booked and arraigned tomorrow. Mr. Trump left his Florida estate at Mar-a-Lago this afternoon and boarded his private plane. He is set to land at New York's LaGuardia Airport and then spend the night at Trump Tower. Trump was indicted last week by a Manhattan grand jury on charges related to alleged hush money payments made ahead of the 2016 campaign for president. Today, NASA named the astronauts who will venture around the moon for the first time in more than 50 years. The space agency, along with the Canadian Space Agency, announced the 4 astronauts that will take part in the Artemis II mission, the first lunar mission since the Apollo program. The Artemis II crew includes Commander Reed Weissman, pilot Victor Glover, and mission specialist Christina Koch and Jeremy Hansen. Targeted for launch late next year, the crew will lift off aboard NASA's Orion spacecraft atop a Space Launch System rocket. It will mark the first time that both the capsule and booster will fly with the astronauts aboard, and only the second launch of both vehicles together after last year's uncrewed Artemis I test flight. The Artemis II mission will orbit the moon and return to Earth. The Artemis III mission is expected to return astronauts to the surface of the moon. A major crash over the weekend left a 2-year-old with major injuries. The crash happened yesterday around noon. This is off Niles and King Streets in Bakersfield. Police say a car was traveling westbound on Niles Street when it hit a pickup truck crossing the intersection. However, police say the truck did stop at the stop sign. The truck rolled over multiple times and the car hit a utility pole. The 2-year-old, severely hurt in the crash, was in a car seat at the time. The toddler was rushed to a hospital. No word yet on his condition. The drivers of both vehicles and other passengers reported minor injuries. Emergency crews are still searching for the driver who crashed a car into the Kern River. CHP says the car traveled about 1/10 of a mile before it came to a stop on Friday. Officers believe only one person was inside the vehicle. Crews searched the area for about 4 hours but could not find the car. It is unclear if the driver was able to get out of the car before landing in the river or if they got lost in the water. We have reached out to the sheriff's office to see if they will be conducting another search. We have not heard back. CHP says they are still investigating the cause of this crash. In business news, according to Bloomberg, Netflix is restructuring its film sector to produce less movies every year. The streaming giant plans to combine divisions that develop small and mid-sized films and make them one group with a more centralized leadership. So this means layoffs for those divisions, including the executives. Netflix's film chief says he is aiming to release more high-quality projects.
Hello, this is Tim Callahan with Clinica Sierra Vista, and we're excited to unveil the Community Health Center of the Future, our comprehensive care center. It's located right across the street from Memorial Hospital. We have every service under one roof, from family medicine, OB/GYN care, dental services for adults and children, behavioral health, and much more. So find your way to better care at Clinica Sierra Vista this year at our comprehensive care center. Visit our website, clinicasierravista.org, for the latest on this project. We'll see you soon.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said yesterday the military situation was particularly hot around Bakhmut, with no let-up and a month-long drive to seize the city, which has been the most protracted battle in the Russian invasion. NBC's Matt Bradley has more from Kyiv.
Well, the eastern city of Bakhmut has been really the most painful crucible of this entire war. It is by far the longest battle that we've been seeing in this war, which is now going on to 13 months. That's raged for 8 months. And actually, both people on the Russian side and on the Ukrainian side and Ukraine's NATO allies have wondered why Ukraine is committing so many forces to fighting in Bakhmut, because it's become a very deadly war of attrition and one that could challenge Ukraine's capability to launch a much anticipated offensive, probably within the next couple of weeks. But the big news today out of Bakhmut was that Yevgeny Prigozhin, and this is a very interesting, really controversial figure in this whole war, he announced that he had legally taken Bakhmut after his private military, which is called the Wagner Group, has been fighting there for months and months. This Wagner Group is made up of tens of thousands of mostly prisoners who were given some sort of reprieve from jail, probably for most of them, in exchange for some kind of amnesty once they serve their usually 6-month-long contracts. Now, this assertion was met essentially with laughter here in Kyiv. We heard from government officials saying that this man can't be believed, that that there's still fierce fighting in Bakhmut, and of course that Bakhmut is a Ukrainian city. But Yevgeny Prigozhin has been right before. Just a couple of weeks ago, he said that he took the town of Soledar, which is near Bakhmut. That wasn't probably true when he did it, but within the next couple of days, Soledar did fall, not really to the Russians, but to his own private army, which has been sometimes at odds with the military establishment in Moscow. Matt Bradley, NBC News, Kyiv, Ukraine.
In health news, we've heard for years there's a magic number of steps that we should all be taking to lose weight and stay healthy. But it might not actually take 10,000 steps to reach those goals. According to a new study from the National Health and Nutrition Survey, you just need to take 8,000 steps at least once a week to live longer. Researchers found people who walk about 8,000 steps once or twice a week had better heart health and lower mortality rates. The study also found those people had a 15% less chance of dying in the next decade. The Queen Mary is open again after a 3-year closure due to the pandemic. The first weekend, as you can imagine, sold out quickly with 3 tours available. They include the Glory Days Tour, the Steam and Steel Tour, and the Haunted Encounters Tour. Each costs $10. People can also start booking reservations for overnight stays beginning May 12th.
The 17 News at Noon podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.